So you like selling insurance, but your insurance agency sucks. What do you do about it? Well, here is my answer coming right up. My name is David DuFord, owner of DuFord Insurance Group. I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. There's links above or below if you'd like to learn more about joining my agency. Make sure you check it out. And always, feel free to subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, of course. So the reason I'm putting this video together is because a lot of you out there are attracted to selling insurance. Maybe you got brought into this business by a friend or family member, or you saw some job post ad and you've discovered this amazing business. But likewise, you've also discovered that all the promises that were made to you upon joining the said agency you did weren't fulfilled, or what was told to you isn't exactly the truth. And while you like selling insurance, you don't like the agency you're with. And you're wondering what you should do about it. Should you continue to charge forward, ignore the things that are bothering you? Or should you just completely switch gears and find another agency or even get out of the business? So what I'm charged to do today for you is to kind of give you some advice, some counsel, some perspective on how to handle this very concerning situation in all seriousness. Because the agency you're part of is a big deal. You want to make sure that agency reflects your personal values, has a goal alignment, the same goals that you have. Because without a goal alignment, you're in deep water and you're in trouble as far as the sustainability of your career goes. So first of all, I think it's important to define, before we get into this, what makes an agency suck, all right? So, I mean, that's a pretty generic term, doesn't really mean anything specific. So let me kind of tell you all of the factors I hear as someone who recruits agents from other agencies and what they tell me about the agency they're originally with that they didn't like. So number one here is terrible quality or a lack of availability of leads. Leads are the lifeblood for most insurance sales operations. You need people to see. And without people to see, it doesn't matter how great the presentation of the agency is. You can have a great product to sell, but if you don't have a system to get in front of prospects, leads in other words, you don't have a business. And working for the agency, even with good people, is a terrible experience. So leads can make an agency suck. Number two on the list here is simply promises not kept. You were brought into this business saying that everybody's a millionaire in like a year's time, that it's easy. Easy? Quite the opposite. And what you've been told at the outset has actually been entirely different now that you're neck deep in the actual day-to-day operations of your insurance business. Maybe the training you thought would be there wasn't there. That's the next point. You were told you're going to be trained to be a top producer, but what they train you on instead of something is like recruiting or watch these videos, but don't call me and ask me your questions because I'm busy selling and I don't want to train you, or something like that. And point number four here is a company culture mismatch. Again, a lot of agents want to sell insurance, but they realize before it's too late when they join an agency, all the agency wants them to do is serve Kool-Aid to their friends, family, and associates on how great the opportunity is and basically recruit them to recruit other people. So these are the things I have found, again, talking to you out there who are with other agencies, as being the big problem or pain points with the associated agency that brought them in. So my perspective on this is really simple. I think that, look, you're not going to find the perfect agency. There's always good and bad when you're joining agents. It's very much like finding a church home. You're not going to find everything you want, but you want to get really close as possible to the thing that you envision an agency should be. So if you're hung up about a minor point, it's not necessarily a reason to leave, okay? It's like a good marriage too. A marriage isn't perfect, okay? You're going to have disagreements, but it doesn't mean you should throw the whole thing out, right? So let's have a mature perspective here. And there's no such thing as perfection. Hopefully we all understand that. We're all adults here, right? So, but if you have one of these four major issues and you don't see a way of overcoming it, resolving these problems, my general advice to agents is to look to jump ship sooner than later. And let me explain to you kind of why I think you should sincerely look at other opportunities When you're in a situation where leads are terrible, you've been literally lied to, there's little to no substantive training to help you feel like you're confident to sell and help your clients, or that the culture just isn't what you thought it was. So first of all, I can tell you from experience, guys, some of you are older than me, some of you are younger. If you're younger, this is an important lesson to learn. Typically, things that are bad get worse. Things that are bad, that don't have a way to resolve those bad things, typically don't get better. They get worse. And you need to trust your instinct. When you have a sincere issue with your current insurance agency that fits into one of these premises, it's not like things just magically get better, or that, yeah, hope springs eternal, but, that's not a strategy either. So if you don't see a way to resolve things, understand it's probably going to get worse and manifest in a different way. So you should be looking for an exit strategy, another agency to join in many of those cases. Again, another thing that bothers me, again, why I think, when promises are broken so early on, it's just an indication, I think, of a cultural issue. When I say cultural, within the agency's business culture, that what you display on the outside should be as equally as possible represented in the actuality, okay? So when we go out there and we say and make these claims that our business is great, we're going to train you to be a top producer, we have systems for leads that actually work, that get you results if you put the work in, but if you don't actually deliver on those promises, that's a huge problem. And you have to understand, as an agent, they have a responsibility as leaders in their business to understand when they make claims about business that they better make sure that promises are followed through. Because the biggest issue, I think, of all of this is that if a company makes a promise to its people, because you're putting your career on the line for this business, you could be doing something else. You could be advancing the corporate ladder, or you could be in another business altogether. But you're taking a risk and you're giving a commitment to a business and an agency. And if they drop the ball and they lie to you and they don't deliver on their promises, why in the world would you want to work for someone like that long term? You're not an employee anymore. You're a business owner. You don't have to put up with this shit. I mean, for real. So don't take the lies as something that just is what it is. It doesn't have to be that way. And it's a very good reason to seriously consider shifting gears. Again, how do I know this? Because I've lived it firsthand. I've seen it with agents. And I absolutely, based on experience, will not stand for a business that says one thing and then delivers something entirely different, literally lying to me, because I know worse things are yet to come, and it's better to leave now before it gets more painful later. So how do you jump from an agency or work from an agency? Because here's the thing. The one thing that you've got to have an understanding with is that you want to be very careful from jumping from something bad to something that's also bad, maybe in a different way, or worse, jump to a worse setup. Because a lot of agencies, unfortunately, don't follow through as being as wholly transparent as possible. So it's important, if you decide to make this jump, that you really do a couple of things to ensure this last jump is your last jump. The best way to look at getting into the insurance business is that your first decision on where to join is your last decision. You're probably not in that position if you are already in an agency, of course. So you want this next decision to be your last decision, as far as I'm going to make a career with this agency and be committed to them on a lifelong basis. It's really important, because all of this issues and problems with the agency, this clouds your capabilities to be successful and help your prospects. So you want to make sure you don't take this next step lightly, that you do the kind of directions I'm about to give you. So first of all on the list here is you got to vet more heavily, okay? Just because some person calls you up on the phone and says, man, I've got these big contracts and cheap leads, come join us now. That is not enough information to make a decision if that agency is the best fit for you. You need to be thinking about, what does this agency has to offer as far as what's its vision? What is its mantra? What are they trying to accomplish? What is it like working for them? What is the trust level of the agency I'm joining, right? So you don't just want to jump for the next thing that tends to cross your vision. You want to take your time getting into it this next time And again, vet them more heavily. A couple of things you can do to vet them, and probably the single most important strategy, is any agency you're thinking about joining, I want you to ask for 3 agents' names that will provide or be willing to provide a testimonial or just some kind of insight to what it's like to work for that particular agency. At times, I personally have agents that reach out to me that like what I say, and they ask me, Dave, hey, everything sounds great. Can you give me 3 people that work with you that can attest to what it's like personally? And my response is very simple. I say, sure. Here's agent A, B, and C's email. Reach out to them. Let them know that you're interested in joining my agency and that you're just curious about having an email conversation or a text or a phone conversation, and you just have a few questions. You won't take their time as much. And that is a huge, huge thing that will help you determine if the agency you're thinking about joining is really worth its weight. So here's what happens if you get pushback. They don't have 3 people that actually can attest to some positive things. Again, any good business out there should have 3 loyal, happy clients, customers, vendors, whatever, that can attest to what the working relationship is like. If an agency doesn't have 3 agents that are successful, and they've been around for a while, and if the agency is not willing to give that information out, that is a red flag. You probably shouldn't join that because either A, they don't have people who like working with them that can positively speak to the experience, or B, they just are control freaks, and they're worried about you contacting their people, and they want you to just believe everything they say, like they should just be trusted and there's no cut the cards that happens. So this is probably the best advice I've heard in other contexts. It's really important to get references on any agency you join, and the reaction you should see, it should not be hostile. It should not be angry. It should be understanding and facilitating, and it shouldn't be where the agency owner micromanages the conversation. I just give the emails to the agents that work with me, and I say, hey, just talk to them. Don't worry about me. Ask whatever you need. I don't need to be a part of that because I have nothing to hide. I don't need to be there and micromanage and make sure, oh, you got to say this and that and the other thing. Like, it's not, I don't need to do that. I trust my people enough that work with me that they'll say whatever they feel is right and appropriate. And that's a good indication, even of itself, that you're dealing with a high-quality agency that cares about its people, that has success, but also has a culture of trust amongst even its own agents, that they don't need to micromanage even something like that. Again, which I believe is a good thing as far as joining an agency. So your agency sucks. What should you do about it? That's totally on you. Hopefully some of the help here has given you some advice and direction on what to do. This is a big decision. You can't take it lightly. But it's a big enough decision that when you make it, let it be your last. Because nothing deters from the experience, the money-making potential, and the help you can give your prospects in working for a crap agency that you don't appreciate and don't like being a part of. My name is David DeFord, owner of DeFord Insurance Group. If you'd like to learn more about joining my agency to sell things like final expense Medicare and annuities, click the links above or below. Leave a comment, ask a question, subscribe, like, and share, and all that stuff. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Y'all take care.